Hello there, everyone. This is Shadow Psycho here, and today we are going to be doing Rewound Villain Deku by I Feel Like Quack underscore O2. So, yeah, let's begin.
Maybe in a million miles on a highway through the skies. Someday soon we'll be together.
No, I honestly don't think you can become a hero.
So, we start off this story as a dark green haired teen walks down the street, phone in one hand, as he looked up at the latest news on heroes. A young girl with long, wavy, silver hair holding his other hand, as she nibbled on her candy apple. Eri looked up the green hair to her green-haired savior. She didn't know much about the boy. But she did know that he was a villain. But would a villain save a girl he knew nothing about? This boy was a mystery. Even though he was a villain, he was never cruel to her. He never used her for anything. All he did was care for her. It was as though he knew her. He knew everything about her. Deku Eri said, finding a picture of the boy on a poster on a light post. The emerald green eyes looked at the girl, then followed her line of sight. It's a missing person poster of a boy he once knew. That boy was long gone. He needed to be. It was best for everyone. He ripped the poster off, squashed it into a ball, and burned it with his quirk. Izuku had been kidnapped, had quirks forced upon him, forced to watch his friends die, forced to see his master meet an untimely death with his mother, and many more he cared for faded from existence, all by the hands of his father, the worst villain of them all for one. The villain had forced his quirks onto him, trying to turn his son into his ultimate weapon. Izuku did not let him succeed. He had been chosen to be the successor of the greatest hero, but he was never able to fill his shoes. And so he came back. He rewound everything to the way it once was. He took away every memory of everyone in the world, making them forget that they have already lived 5 years. If he were to go back, If he were to give back those memories to many people, it would have looked like it would have been like looking into one's own future. But the people who knew him, it would have been a life that had him. Izuku had become a hero to save people, but he couldn't save them all. And so his second chance, he would protect them in the shadows. His first act was to save Eri. He retained all his quirks from his previous life and took Eri from Chisaki. With this, Sir Night-Eye wouldn't have died. He still had One for All, but everything reversed. There would be two holders of the power. Mirio bound to inherit it. His plan was simple. He would change everything, and so no one would suffer. With Eri by his side, a medical mask on they found themselves at the scene where a villain was attacking. He remembered this as clear as day. Actually, he was reliving this. Kamui Woods about to capture the villain, and then Mount Lady swooping in and knocking out the villain. Izuku chuckled at the sight of Kamui Woods feeling down. If only he knew that them both would be a power couple in just a few years. In just a year, I mean. Yeah, I messed up a lot, sorry. Izuku had work to do today. Bakugo was going to get captured by a villain today. He needed to bring Eri to her school. He helped the girl with controlling her quirk. She had enough control over it to interact with people. After dropping off the girl, he went about his day. He was the head of a villain organization known as the Drifters. They were not petty villains, they were villains with a reason. He accepted people who had been wrongfully accused, those they were looked down by society, the quirkless, those told that they were villains because of their quirks. Those that didn't have a fair life, and so forth. Those that didn't want to be villains but had no choice to become one, these were victims of superhuman society he wanted to protect. Those he may say villains, they were pretty much a vigilante group. But they were villains nonetheless. Taking the law into their own hands, where the heroes can't venture. Izuku wondered what he would do for the day. Maybe visit his mother. Though he says visit, it was mostly meeting. Meant turning invisible and walk into his mother's hospital room and watch her. As creepy as it may seem, it was the only thing he could do to be close to her. That's sad. Really sad. Ever since he ran away, his mother had broken down and hospitalized. She had slowly been getting better, thanks to a friend she made in the hospital, and of all the people, it was Todoroki's mother. Both were getting better. Izuku teleported into the room, placing a bundle of fresh flowers in the vase. His mother was Rei Todoroki when he did. His mother was with Rei Todoroki when he did. Inko, don't you think you should tell someone about this? Rei looking slightly terrified. No, it's fine. There's no harm done, Inko replied with a smile. Izuku stood in a corner and watched the two women chat. Who do you think is sending you these flowers in such a way? Rei asked, still worried. I'm not sure, but I have a hunch. But it can't be true. Mum, your hunches are always right. Just then, Yo, Inko, I'm here! Miss Bakugo comes slamming in. Is it okay to let someone in a mental hospital like that in a mental hospital? Izuku wondered, holding his chest. He thought his heart was going to jump out. Oi, Rei-san, nice to meet you. The green-haired woman chuckled, and the white-haired smiled gleefully. Izuku noted that him, Bakugo, and Todoroki were male versions of their mothers, though Todoroki still had half red and a blue or green eye and the scar. If his whole head was white and both eyes grey and had no scar, he would be just like his mum. Oh, seems the mystery man brought you flowers again. Mitsuki with a sly smile. Mitsuki said with a sly smile. It's not like that, Inko said. Then who keeps bringing you flowers? She asked. I think it's Izuku. Inko said with a smile. Ray looked at with a smile and took her hand. Mitsuki looked hurt. Izuku did run away 2 years ago. Ray knew how she felt. Her eldest son did run away as well. Bakugo's going to UA next spring, isn't he? Inko asked. Yeah, the brat's strong on being the #1 hero. I can't believe my youngest is going to attend, Ray said, looking down. They would have been good friends, Inko sadly says. If you only knew, Mum, Izuku thought. Izuku left before it continued to get any more heart-clenching. He teleported himself to a cafe. He checked at the time, a few more hours before he could go pick up Eri. He slagged. How can I read this one? He slid to and decided. He sighed? Yeah, probably sighed. And decided to find a way, find something to pass the time. He decided to check on the news on information about what his group was doing. First to pop up saying the villain organization known as the Drifters were responsible for a murder of a serial killer. The second said that the Drifters had brought down a mafia gang, slaughtering all members. Izuku didn't like killing, but he does his research and had already lived his life. He knows that these people do what these people do, so he sent his group after them. Many of them had suffered from them as well. It was clearing the streets and revenge. Izuku made always track every man. Izuku made sure to always track every member. Most were not active because they were under his protection. These were people who had lost hope in everyone and the family of his members. The people in his group were of all ages. They were victims of society. His complex brain could easily track every single one as easily as breathing. He still needed to mark a few more people, his friends and also family.